Live from Television Park in high definition, coverage you can count on. This is WJBF News Channel 6 at 6.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jenny Montgomery.
I'm Brad Means. Thanks for joining us as we head right to our big story for you tonight. The boil water advisory affecting most of Richmond County.
News Channel 6 broke the news of the advisory last night at 5, and so far, not much has changed.
No, not much at all. In fact, we're in a bit of a holding pattern right now, at least until tomorrow morning. We have Team 6 coverage for you, working to answer many of your questions tonight.
George Escala, Renetta DuBose, and Mike Miller will be taking you through what happened and how it impacted schools and local businesses.
But first, let's break down where we stand right now on this Wednesday night. Take a look at this map. If you live within the highlighted yellow areas there, you are affected by this advisory until at least Thursday morning. Take a good look now at that area. It runs north of Gordon Highway, along and north of Laney Walker Boulevard in the downtown area. We're talking about Columbia Nitrogen Road in East Augusta, Lovers Lane, all of downtown. You are affected, as well as West Augusta, the Hill, all the way to the county and state lines. And Fort Gordon, thank you for your service. You are in the advisory area. Here's what you need to know. The advisory is not going to be lifted until at least tomorrow morning. So you have to keep boiling your water or using bottled water. The cause of the cloudy water at the plant is not known. Water officials will only tell us that this only happened once, like a 4-minute period yesterday, and it hasn't happened since. What about the school system? Well, News Channel 6 just learning that all Richmond County public schools will be closed again tomorrow. No school, Richmond County public school students, 11 and 12-month employees, you do have to go to work at your regular time. We're going to have all you need to know about this in a few minutes, as well as on our website at WJBF.com. News Channel 6's Renetta DuBose, in fact, on this story since last night. She'll talk about the school system's response to the water situation and what they're going to do about it. It's about 2 minutes away.
But first, getting to the bottom of the water warning. What caused the problem at the Highland Avenue water treatment plant? News Channel 6's senior reporter George Escala was at the plant today with the mayor and other city leaders. He joins us now live from the newsroom.
It was a day like no other at Highland Avenue treatment plant, as long as anyone there can remember, and they keep a very close eye on the water coming and going out of the plant. Tens of millions of gallons a day, but for 4 minutes yesterday, the plant experienced one of those what the heck is going on moments. At the Highland Avenue treatment plant, these are uncharted waters.
We've got people who have been up here for 20 and 30 years that have never issued a boil water advisory before, so this is new to us.
The plant was routinely backwashing one of its 17 filters when a 4-minute-long turbidity spike took place. Turbidity is cloudiness in the water. This one was off the charts, more than 10 times higher than normal. But at this point, the department still doesn't know why. Technicians monitor the water all the time at the treatment plant, but this is what the problem. All of a sudden, a spike in the clarity of the water. And they knew something was seriously wrong.
Something that came through the filter that caused the turbidity spike, and then it cleaned back up.
Since those 4 minutes yesterday, though, the water has been clear. No more spikes.
No, there's not, and there hasn't been before this either. So again, it's an anomaly.
With water an issue, Mayor Davis and 2 commissioners came to the plant to see for themselves the department's response.
The utilities department is doing a good job. That they're on top of things, and what I found out is that they monitor their water every 15 minutes.
There is no imminent threat to health and safety to our residents based on what we know, but out of an abundance of caution, the advisory was initiated, and this is where we are through tomorrow.
We'll figure out exactly what happened, and we'll take steps to make sure it can't happen again.
Now, Meyer tells me there is no bacterial contamination in the water, but they're waiting for the testing results on a second set of water samples that were collected this morning, but there's that 24-hour waiting period, so it will be at least sometime Thursday morning before the city can notify the state of the results and hopefully have this boil water advisory lifted. Right back to you.
You know, a lot of people turn to one place when there's a problem in Augusta. It's the 311 customer service line. But 311 closed for the day at its normal hours on Tuesday at 5:30, just 30 minutes after the city issued this boiled water alert. Now, the office did, to their credit, reopen at 10 o'clock last night. The director and a couple of other operators came in and took calls till midnight. Commissioner Bill Lockett there chairs the Commission Public Safety Committee and is pretty critical of the city's response for notifying the public on this.
We got to have instantaneous notification, because what if the water had been poisoned by one of our enemies or something? Can we afford to wait 24, 36, 48 hours for notification? We cannot do it.
The 311 system was open for calls throughout the day today.
Okay, so Brad, you know this. In baseball, you don't talk to the pitcher about the no-hitter. If you're a firefighter, you don't say how quiet it's been. And if you're in the water department, well, do not talk about the good job you do. It was just last Thursday we reported that, unlike Flint, Michigan, the city did not use lead pipes in the water system, so there was no reason to fear contamination. We asked Utilities Director Tom Wiedmeyer if he was bothered by the questions coming into the department from concerned residents. Listen to what he said last week, that it was a chance for the department to toot its own horn.
We're getting some interest and getting some questions, and it's actually it kind of gives us a chance to brag about our water system.
At the exact time the boil water advisory was issued, Wiedmeyer was telling the Commission Engineering Committee that the city didn't have any lead issues in its pipes, but then he had to say the city was under the advisory. Though we broke the news of the water advisory at 5 o'clock yesterday, shortly after it was issued, the Richmond County school system did not make a decision to close until just before 11 o'clock last night.
Yeah, that late response, so late into the night, had a lot of parents scrambling just to find childcare without what they say was much notice at all. News Channel 6's Renetta Dubose live down at the Board of Education headquarters in Augusta. And Renetta, I know you had quite a back and forth with the board's public information guy, Caden Jacobs, back and forth that went into the wee hours this morning. Let me just tell you that Renetta and Mr. Jacobs went back and forth until about 1:30 in the morning at last check, maybe 2. Renetta begging the face of the school system to go on television and tell the public what in the world is going on. He wouldn't. And we talked to parents about that today. The school system, for its part, though, says 11 o'clock really isn't that late when you consider that their official deadline to let you moms and dads know about school is 4 a.m. That's when their deadline is. They don't have to call you till then. We talked to a concerned parent about it.
It's a hard decision. I thought it was going to snow. That's why I thought they was going to keep them out of school. But finding out that it's about water, I feel like water shouldn't have nothing to do with them going to school, technically.
Well, we found out about an hour ago that school in Richmond County is going to be canceled again tomorrow. Those of you who are 11 and 12-month employees, you do have to go. But public school children in Augusta, you will stay home. What about the hospitals?
Some people say, well, it's boiled water. Is it really that big of a deal? But in a healthcare setting, it is a very big deal. So you need to make sure that you're prepared and you have an appropriate next steps to how to deal with that.
Well, there you go. Augusta University Health System taking this boil water advisory seriously as well. In fact, right after it was issued, AU leaders met to initiate plans that were already in place. They've got bottled water on hand if they need it, and they're going to stop the use of tap water until this ban is lifted. Also, elective surgical cases going to be postponed, some of them, because of the advisory.
It was hit or miss when it came to which local stores had bottled water on the shelves and which didn't. Inside the Kroger on Washington Road, shoppers stocked up on water to get them through the duration of the boil water advisory, which is expected to be lifted sometime tomorrow. The manager there tells us when the store started running low, they reached out to their Atlanta stores for help. We checked with the stores in North Augusta to see if they're affected by Richmond County's warning. The manager at Kroger there says they have very little water left in stock, but a shipment is coming in tonight. According to the Department of Health, all restaurants have to have a plan in place on how they will operate during a water crisis like this.
Yeah, they have to have it. The businesses that want to open need the policy posted in order to remain open, or they have to shut down until the advisory goes away. News Channel 6's Mike Miller live in front of several eateries on Wheeler Road. Mike, there were plenty of places around town that closed for the day, or some that just had to open late.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Brad. And right over here we have Which, the sandwich shop, and Diablo's, which of course is Tex-Mex style food. Both of those restaurants are open, but they do have a limited menu. Of course, you cannot order tap water. You can't order fountain drinks there because, of course, the boil water advisory. And right next door here, we have Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts was open this morning, but they were not serving tea or coffee because you need tap water to make that stuff. Now, hungry Augustans spent the day looking for restaurants that were open. A lot of them were, but with limited menus, as I said. Those that were able to stay open were open because the staff had a proper plan in place. Now, according to the Richmond County Health Department, under a boil water advisory, basically anything that a restaurant does must be done with boiled or bottled water. That includes cooking and cleaning.
We turned off our Coke machine and trying to push the bottles only for today. Emptied out the ice and got fresh ice back in the ice machine.
Now, most of the restaurants that were closed today say that they will reopen tomorrow, and the health department is sending their employees out to all the different restaurants across Augusta to make sure that they do have that proper plan in place before they can open. Back to you.
It was a breezy, chilly day. Look at these wind gusts from all of our major reporting stations. Everybody at 30 miles an hour or higher. And of course, that made it feel a lot colder than it really was out there. Temperatures right now holding the low 40s and upper 30s across much of Georgia, Carolina. Aiken, you're already down to 36 degrees. And with those breezes, wind chill factors holding right now at or below the freezing mark across the entire region. Jiffy Lube Skyview Network showing clear skies. Forecast tonight as we hold at 38. Dipping into the 30s and staying there right through midnight. Your forecast coming up in a second. Brad, Jenny?
A rush on water in Augusta thanks to this boil water advisory.
Well, that's for sure, but it wasn't just people like you and me buying up those bottles. One local restaurant cleared out a grocery store. We'll show you. At least one restaurant made a late night run to make sure it was ready for Augusta's water crisis.
620 pounds of ice.
Yeah, 620 pounds of ice.
640 bottles of water.
And now we're getting more.
Yep.
And this is for a restaurant here?
Yep, Red Lobster,
Red Lobster, Washington Road.
Yep.
As for Jeremy.
How's everybody? I'm sorry. But it is what it is.
We ran into these Red Lobster workers as they loaded up at a local grocery store, buying up the entire supply of water that was out, bottles, gallon jugs, you name it. They said their boss heard about the boil water advisory and sent them to the store to make sure Red Lobster had enough. I spoke with Red Lobster's Washington Road location today, and the lady there told me they are open with a limited menu, just no sweet tea.
Some folks opted for fresh spring water instead for free over at the Flowing Wellspring on Wrightsboro Road. Lots of folks were filling containers and learning about Augusta's boil water advisory. The spring water's fresh, and people there say that the water tastes just as good as any bottled brand.